Hey everyone, my name is Dalia Ceja, and today I'm going to show you how to make my version of a homemade Mexican cornbread. I grew up eating my abuela's homemade cornbread and I absolutely loved it. Historically, cornbread has always been a staple in the Mexican culture, being that maíz, or corn, also known as choclo, is a primary ingredient used in this recipe. And this recipe varies than others because there's a subtle sweetness and spiciness in the ingredients that make it so exceptionally delicious. I'm gonna spice things up a lot and use my own special ingredients, jalapeno and serrano peppers. Trust me, this will add so much flavor to the recipe that you will be begging for more. Now, before we get started, I highly recommend for you guys to use a hard cast iron skillet. It's kind of an old-fashioned way of cooking, but this will allow none of the ingredients to stick to the pan. Okay, first step, let's go grill the corn outside. So I just put a few ears of corn on the grill. This recipe only calls for 2, but I'm gonna be making a few batches. And I recommend for you to grill outside because it does tend to get a little bit smoky when you're inside in the kitchen. And I've lightly dressed the corn with a little bit of olive oil and cayenne pepper to give the corn a little bit of a spice component to it. And it only takes about 10 minutes. Keep turning them until they're nice and charred, which will give the cornbread a nice smoky flavor to it. Okay, they're gonna be done in a few minutes, and we'll see you back inside. So besides the corn, here's the rest of the ingredients you'll need to finish the recipe. It calls for 1 1/4 cup of cornmeal, about 1/4 cup of flour, a cup and a half of well-shaken buttermilk, a whole stick of butter, a half cup of honey, 2 eggs, 1/4 cup of sugar, a tablespoon of salt, a tablespoon of baking soda, 1/4 cup of vegetable oil, an entire jalapeno and serrano pepper finely chopped. So what I'm gonna do next is cut off the kernels from the cob, and then I'm gonna saute them with the jalapeno and serrano peppers with a little bit of olive oil. Yeah, they should just come right off. So you only need to saute the corn and the 2 chiles for just a few minutes. I'm just gonna put a little bit of olive oil in there, charred corn, the serrano pepper, and the jalapeno pepper. And right now is a really good time to preheat the oven to about 450 degrees because I'm almost ready to put all of the ingredients together. Before you mix the wet and the dry ingredients, you need to put 1 stick of butter and 1/4 cup of vegetable oil in the hard cast skillet and put it in the oven at 450 degrees for 5 minutes. So I just put in the iron skillet in the oven for 5 minutes. Meanwhile, we're gonna mix all of the ingredients together. Let's start with the dry. So we're gonna start with 1 1/4 cup of cornmeal, 1/4 cup of flour, 1 tablespoon of baking soda, 1 tablespoon of salt, and 1/4 cup of sugar. So make sure that the dry ingredients are evenly mixed, and when you're done, make a well at the bottom, because in a separate bowl, we're gonna mix the wet ingredients and then we're gonna combine everything at the ends. So I just took out the skillet from the oven and I'm gonna combine the oil with the rest of the wet ingredients. Let's start with the buttermilk. Make sure that it's well shaken, the honey, which will provide the cornbread with that sweetness, 2 eggs, and this next part is optional. I cooked 2 bacon strips and I'm using the bacon grease as part of the recipe, and this will provide the cornbread with a savory and richness to it. Next is the oil, and be careful. Remember to use a towel or a mitten because it is really hot. So we're gonna mix this first, and then we're going to add in the corn and the jalapeno and serrano peppers last. So it looks evenly mixed. I'm about to add in the corn and the chile and jalapeno peppers. And from there, we're gonna add it to the dry ingredients. And I recommend using a whisk. That's probably the easiest way to mix all of this evenly. So let's add all of it together. Yeah, go slowly, it could splash everywhere. Last step, add a little bit of vegetable oil to the skillet, then the mixture, And you're gonna wanna let it bake at 420 degrees for 15 to 25 minutes or until golden brown. So the cornbread's finished. It looks and smells delicious. I can't wait to try it. But before that, I wanted to introduce you to Javier. He's part of the Ceja extended family and my hero for the day. I must tell you guys, earlier, he was helping me light up the outdoor grill. And as he was doing that, a big fireball exploded in his face. I am so sorry. How are you feeling?
I'm doing better. Still a little burned though, but much better.
You look fabulous.
Thank you.
And so this is a reminder for you guys. Please remember to be careful while cooking with fire.
That's true.
And you also suggested that we pair the Ceja Chardonnay with the cornbread. Why is that?
Whenever you use some jalapeno, you use butter and a little bit of honey. And our Chardonnay being so clean, crisp, refreshing, is gonna break through very good.
I totally agree. Salute to that.
Salud.
So let's try this already.
Can't wait.
It smells so yummy. Delicious. What do you think?
Amazing.
I love it. Well, thank you guys so much for watching and stay tuned till the next time. Salud.
Salud.